Hello everyone, welcome back to Bible Corner Reviews. Today I'm reviewing the King James Version Compact Center Column Reference Bible from Thomas Nelson. I recently reviewed the New King James, and so if you've watched that video, you'll see some similarities, but obviously the translation is a major shift in terms of some features, and so there'll be a few differences. So here's the box with the Thomas Nelson difference between the King James and New King James. The King James is a gold, where the New King James is a red design. Here's the front. This is the black genuine leather. This one also has the comfort print, as well as over 43,000 cross-references and a concordance. Here's the back of the box. This is a clamshell. It's a single piece. And there's the features. This one retails for $119.99. I believe you can get this for around $55 to $58, depending on where you find it. So here is the Bible. It's a very pebbly, genuine leather, and you'll notice right off, this cover is rather wrinkly, and I think what happened is just the piece of leather that was put on here, it looks like it was just a tiny bit too big, and so when it got sewn on, it wrinkled up a little bit, which to some that might be a blemish, but to me, that just adds a very unique, special feature to this Bible, and it just gives it a lot of character, and that's not usually something that you'll see as often with a paste down versus edge lines. Usually we'll get all kinds of peculiarities, but the paste down are usually more consistent, so this is actually kind of cool. So you have Holy Bible on the front. On the spine we have 5 raised hubs. Then you have these gilt lined perimeter boxes. There's Holy Bible, KJV, and then Thomas Nelson. This one does not have the Thomas Nelson logo. The ISBN is on the back. There's perimeter stitching. The stitching is very consistent. The corners are not exactly the same all the way around, but overall it's good for a paste down and not a super high-end Bible. And on the interior you can see the liner is synthetic cardstock. There is reinforcement tape along the bottom here, and there you have that. The dimensions on this Bible are again the same as the New King James. It's 7 3/4 tall by 5 1/4 wide by 1 1/4 thick. So this is a very compact Bible. So we'll open it up here. You can see that it is gold page gilding, no red art gilt or any color art gilt. There's a black and red 3/8 inch double satin angle cut ribbons. They are not too short. They do sufficiently reach the edge. And then you have black head and tail bands. So opening this up, there's Holy Bible, a single page again that doubles as your end sheet. Then you get right into Bible paper. Here's the publication page, printed in India again, and this is a 2023 publication. Here's the table of contents, pretty straightforward. The letter to King James, which you should find in a King James Bible. How to use this reference Bible, covers all of the features, and then the abbreviations that you will find in the cross-references and footnotes. And then the Old Testament. The layout on this Bible is fairly straightforward for a King James, and if you are familiar with the King James, this is going to be something you recognize right off. It is a double column center column reference Bible. The 2 columns of text are justified and verse by verse, which is usually the case with King James. This is an 8-point comfort print type from 2K Denmark. Very easy to read. I really love the New King James and the King James typeface from Thomas Nelson. You'll see here that the cross-references in the center are divided from the text by a line, and there is plenty of space around the perimeters here, and so it makes for really easy reading. And flipping through, you'll be able to see here, actually at the beginning is actually a good spot to show, the parallel passages are referenced at the top of the page. So here we have the temptation at the garden, and you have Romans 5, 12 through 21, which speak of Adam as Jesus as the second Adam and being able to offer a better sacrifice and cover the sin of Adam. So it has that reference to that passage right at the top, so you can easily reference parallel material, which I have found to be very helpful, especially on a reference Bible, because sometimes it's easy to, you can look at that up in the cross-reference as well, but at the same time, that's very much quicker to find your place. So something I really enjoy. The paper, I believe, is a 30 GSM. I think that's what they're starting to do with other regular Bibles. And it's a very easy to turn. Overall, the consistency of lettering I haven't really noticed to be too varied in this edition. If we get to the poetic settings, which are actually quite hard to find in here because, as you can see, they are also justified. Now, this is a difference between the New King James, which just has hanging text in the poetic settings, so you can tell that it's poetic. This one is all justified all the way throughout, so it's sometimes difficult visually to see the difference when it changes to poetic. And this is one where I believe the books of the Bible start on a new page each time. Some King James do not, and I do like to point that out because sometimes it's a little bit startling, because if you're not used to that, that's something that you might not prefer. But I believe this one does start a new chapter or a new book on a new page. So the New Testament, you can see here, is red letter. This one has better consistency in the red lettering than the New King James did, and it is very consistent throughout. You can see here it's very dark. It is line matched, so it does not bleed. And if the cross references are too many for the column, they do spill over into the bottom right hand column of text. So you'll have a line and then the rest of the cross references, which is something just to keep in mind. Getting to the end of the Bible, you'll see that there is a Bible reading plan and a concordance. So we have the reading plan, a very simple design, just has the box and the chapters to mark off, so you can really set this to however you want to progress through a reading plan. So it can be whatever time frame that you set. This one is in a year, but you could definitely do it faster or slower depending on how you want. It's not designated as a specific time allotment. There is prayers of the Bible as well. Then you have a concordance, which is a decent concordance for such a small Bible. And the typical Thomas Nelson maps. There are 8 maps. Technically, I think they counted as 7 because a lot of times they don't count the Jerusalem map as a map, but it's a map. So that makes 8. At the end, you have the end sheet. So that is the King James version, and I will quickly compare here the New King James in leather, just so you can see they're very similar. The King James had more of a pebbly grain. The New King James was a little bit more smooth, but it has a very similar look overall. But I will point out the poetic settings. So you can see here in a poetic setting in the New King James, it is just a hanging text, where in the King James, you can see the poetic settings are justified. So that is one of the major differences of design feature between the two. Other than that, they're basically the same Bible, and in terms of layout and size. So there you have it. That is the King James Compact Center Column Reference Bible from Thomas Nelson in the black genuine leather. It's a really great small Bible, and if you're looking for something with a classic King James design, but that's portable and that just looks really sharp, this is definitely a Bible to check out. So thank you for watching, and hope to see you again soon.